Hello everyone today and welcome to another video. And a lot of you guys have been asking me to check out the Audi Q5 Sportback, and here it finally is. Huge thanks to our friends over at Audi of Hawthorne, New York for letting us check out this awesome Q5 Sportback and also the e-Tron GT, which the other video is either up or coming soon depending on when this video comes out. Sorry again guys if my voice is a little messed up today, but we do have this new Q5 Sportback over here. It is pretty hot right now. This whole segment of the crossover coupes are pretty hot in general. We have the BMW X4, the Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupe, and of course we have the all-new Infiniti QX55 just to add to the fire. So of course this is Audi's offering, at least in the United States. And I'm going to give you guys, of course, a full tour review and kind of all the weird features of this Audi Q5 Sportback. And let's see if this is a better buy over a BMW X4 or even a GLC Coupe. Okay, everyone, here is the all-new Audi Q5 Sportback. And other than being a facelifted, updated version of the Q5, it is a Sportback. So it is that coupe style crossover SUV, and boy is it an interesting one to look at. I definitely can say that. The rear end is interesting, to say the least. I personally don't know if I'm still a big fan of it at all. I think that other cars have done it better. Of course, this one's direct competitors is the BMW X4 and the Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupe. There are other crossover coupes on the market, of course with the BMW X6, the Porsche Cayenne Coupe, I guess the Audi Q8, which is their top-end version as well, and a few others. This one is a very interesting implementation. The rear end is kind of just chopped off really steep, but I think it looks really good from the front end. Not so much from the rear end. I think personally it looks kind of like this raised hatchback on stilts from the front end. Coming to the side, it's not too bad. I think it looks a little sporty, definitely more sporty than a regular Q5, but that rear end is, and I don't know if it's a tractor design or if it's a cool design personally, but I still don't know how much I feel about it. So again, basically what they did was they kind of just took the roof from around here and just cut it off and sloped it down to create that kind of Sportback-esque design. And of course back here, to kind of get that mimic design, we have these kind of fins going on here that kind of help blend this roof into the rear deck lid, of course. And of course we have a kind of like a spoiler going on up here, really big. I got another fin, and of course it's kind of like that weird built-in a little bit of a ducktail sloping roofline type thing. Really weird stuff going on over here. Of course we have our Audi LED lights back here, and there are the incandescent lights over here. And the reason these are here is because these lights are mounted onto the trunk, and it's a moving piece, and by law they have to have static lights built into the vehicle when this trunk is open. So there's always lights kind of showing to people. We have fog lights on right now, which are on the bottom as well. Kind of a weird look for this vehicle. Now up front is pretty much the same stuff as we see for the other Q5. This one has the S-Line appearance package. This is not an SQ5, this is just a Q5. I do like kind of what they did, differentiated the grille a little bit for this version of Q5 Sportback. It's a little more sporty, I guess, if you want to call it. The S-Line Sport package does add a little bit more of a nice flared out bumper design going on there as well. So you got a little bit more sport going on in your Q5 Sportback. Of course, we have Audi's LED headlights over here, full LED headlights. Really nice stuff going on there. I have all the lights on right now so you can kind of see all the different elements and whatnot. I think it looks okay. Like I said before, from the front and the side. The rear, I don't know. I don't know if it's just this color or whatnot. This is another iris white vehicle we're testing today, but it's definitely interesting. I have seen a few of these driving around so far, so they are selling pretty well. So that's not an issue. Pretty big silver wheels going on this one. Maybe if you get like a darker trim wheel or something, it might help the appearance. Maybe I wouldn't get this in white either, but hey, these are just my opinions. You guys can make your own opinions on these, but I know a lot of people, at least the commenters, have been not too happy with this design, but I'm sure buyers and other people will genuinely enjoy it. And I'm sure it's a nice change up if you don't want a typical crossover SUV. Now, so the rear end, let's see how this Sportback opens up. So I can open it from the key with a double tap. Okay guys, now it's time to go check out the trunk area because this kind of Sportback design is a little bit weird. Now of course you can open from the key. Let me see if it has that kick to unlock button. I don't think it has that feature. Just make sure the vehicle's unlocked. Of course, if you want to open it manually, you can do it from right here. Power tailgate. And as you can see, those lights kind of move with the trunk, and those have to be static as per the law in the US, and most other countries as well. As you can see, there's that clamshell design like I just said, and the Sportback does cut off some trunk space because there is that sloping roof line. So as you can see, this space is kind of compromised. It kind of looks like a Prius right now a little bit with this kind of shape in the headlight. I'm gonna take a picture of this for you guys. I'll make a joke about that, but I don't know why it looks like it reminds me of an old Prius. But coming back here, decent amount of space so far. We do have a scuff plate over here, aluminum scuff plate. The low floor isn't too high. There's a little bit of a lip that dips down. We do have a nice mat. This is a brand new vehicle, so of course it's still plastic and everything. Some nice LED lighting going on back here if you do want. We have that and whatnot stuff. I don't think there's underfloor cargo storage here. There should be. I want to open up this stuff. This is a brand new vehicle and want to mess anything up. But you have some tie downs on the side as well, as you can see right here, and a little bit of some storage on the sides. I do like this on the side. It's a little bit of a strap if you want. Now, these do help fold the seats down if you need some extra storage, and you do have a cargo cover as well to kind of cover up all your stuff. But you know, traditional, a little bit of trunk stuff. And again, if you want to load taller items, I would just get a regular Q5, as this kind of sloped roof line is going to kind of prevent them from being fit back here. But again, the seats do fold down, so you have a little bit more space going on back there. Closing this up, you can press the button on the trunk right here, and that'll shut it up. There's kind of like a little weird like fake diffuser thing going on here. You don't even see any exhaust tips at all. They didn't even bother doing fake exhaust tips, as you can see. There's kind of like this weird like sporty looking diffuser style thing going on over there, as you can see. And I don't know, it looks okay. Again, it's an S-Line appearance package, so it is what it is. Of course, this vehicle rides on the, I think it's the MOB Evo platform, which is kind of shared with almost every single full wheel quattro transverse mounted engine Audi, and this is one also kind of shared with the Porsche Macan as well. Longitudinal, not transverse. Correct myself there before someone attacks me. But let's just go check out under the hood real quick. Pop the hood latch. So used to BMWs, I did it twice. But this one has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine underneath the hood. Now, of course, if you upgrade to the Audi Q5, you get a turbocharged straight V6 under the hood. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Nice latch. Of course, the struts to open up, and here's your 4-cylinder engine right there. It makes you run 265 and 270-ish horsepower. Not too bad on power. Of course, quattro all-wheel drive. Power is going to all 4 wheels. Nothing too much here. As you can kind of see, there's a lot of room in this engine bay. So look how much room is there back here. Crazy amount of room. Of course, we have our gearbox right there. 8-speed gearbox, and the engine, of course. Pretty quiet, nothing too crazy here at all. So we'll pop this closed and head on the interior. Really nice stuff there. Shut that up. But yeah, just a quick wrap up before I head on inside. Pretty tasteful on the front and the sides, like for the 3rd time I think I said, and that rear is just a little bit wonky, at least in my opinion, but that's for you guys to decide. So I think we should go hop on the inside and go check out what's going on in there. Okay, everyone, we have the key to the Audi Q5 Sportback. The car is on right now, so you can just walk up. There is comfort access, so I don't technically need to use the key. I could just hop in and I'll put my hand on the door handle like this, and everything will unlock for you just like that. So to do that, you just literally, usual unlock this. These door handles kind of go up in an up fashion, which is kind of interesting. And on the interior, it's pretty much all the stuff that the updated Audi Q5 has. So on the door panels, as you would expect with an Audi product, everything's super, super premium. Really nice build material on the doors. This wood trim with the blended in aluminum door handles. You have your seat memory controls as whatnot. Typical Audi control buttons on the door panels over here. Some nice stitching and soft touch plastics on the bottom. This one does have the upgraded Bang & Olufsen 3D audio system, which is nice. These start around $47,000, and this one's optioned to around $56,000. We have around $10,000 in options going on here. And let's hop right inside. Setting up the door, it is really nice and quiet in here, which is a beautiful thing. This is more of a comfort luxury vehicle versus like a sports car or something. So you're gonna want like a nice quiet cabin and all that stuff. Now you just sit a little bit high, as this is a SUV. I just got out of the all new Audi e-Tron GT, so I'm kind of really used to that super low driving position. So setting up high is a different feeling. you know, again, like I said before, there's nothing too crazy going on in here. It's pretty much all the stuff we've seen with the facelifted Audi Q5. But for you guys on this channel, we have not really reviewed any Audi, so I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to give you guys basically a rundown and whatnot. So over here, we have the newer Audi MMI interface. It's MMI Touch interface. They got rid of the kind of MMI controller down here where you can use like a touchpad and whatnot, or a scroll wheel, depending on what generation it was. So now it's a full touchscreen, kind of iPad style, stuck onto the dashboard. It's a little bit like wonkily stuck on there. I don't know how much I feel about it. It's very thin and whatnot, but I wish it was a better integrated instead of just being stuck on the dashboard. Regardless, it is very fast, so that is a good thing. Nothing too crazy here. You have your home settings, radio settings, music, voice control, and of course navigation. This is, I think, a 10.1 inch display, which is a really nice display. Really nice stuff, and everything's really quick. You just move through all your things over there. Now, of course, coming down to the center console, we have air climate controls. I do like how it's kind of like a sensitive button, so it knows where your fingers are. 3 tri-zone climate control on this one. And down to this lower panel, we do have, you can turn the screen off. I think it's a hill descent control feature. Parking sensors and cameras, auto stop start turning off, traction control, and your drive select mode. So drive select, you have a few different modes on this one, as it is an SUV. You have an off-road setting, comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. And of course, individual is a much more of a customizable option. We can change your drive modes and steering modes. Like I said before, you also have a lot of cameras going on here. So I do really like this one. So it has like full 360 cameras. I don't believe there is like kind of like that virtual 360 vision option, but you are able to see all the different angles you have over here in this bottom. So you can have your front camera, you have a side view camera from top down, you have this and this. Let me just turn the volume off, and this and this. I think these are all really helpful. As you can see, if you move the vehicle, I'll put it into drive, you can see the car is moving along as well. I think that's super, super cool. That is one of my favorite things. And if you pop it over into reverse, of course you have your backup camera, which will pop up, and of course you have trajectory with the lines and everything. And of course there are parking sensors as well. So you have a lot of safety and security with all of that. Pop it back in the park, and we're there. Awesome. Now down here, we do have USB port, start stop button for your engine, and of course everything in Audi's interiors are always built very nice. We have some nice wood trim going across the Quattro badge. In there, of course, you can get different trims, aluminum trim and whatnot. Everything's super solid, no creaking or whatnot. Really nice stuff. I do like these buttons as well with the little displays in the inside. Nice tactile feel going on there as well. This excuse me, this shifter as well is typical stuff we see in Audis. Nice and wrapped in soft-touch material. It used to be so that you can kind of rest your hand in it and touch the MMI system. They kind of dug that out now and just give you a little bit more storage cubby down there, which is, I guess, fine. Of course, put it in the park, you press the button and shift it back and forth to go through your different gears through the 8-speed gearbox. Here's your control for your volume and to turn the radio on and off, and just a quick track skip feature. And then down here we do have this gloss black, which is annoying, but there is some nice aluminum trim separating it between the wood, which is a nice open pore style wood feel. In the center console, we have a wireless charging mat over here, which is nice. It does move around, which is kind of cool. And you have a USB-C port down here. Sorry guys, you can't really see. Your USB-C port down there, over here, and of course 2 cup holders, and this kind of closes up, stitched in leather. You can go all the way down, move it in and out, or you can gotta bring it to like different levels, which is, I think, really cool. Nice adjustable kind of center armrest feature, and it is wrapped, I think, like a Sensitech, oh, not Sensitech, but like a fake leather type material, which is nice. The seats I find pretty comfortable. There's some nice bolstering on the sides. There's stitching going down the center. They are heated, not perforated. You do have adjustable thigh supports. There's a decent amount of support. I think they're very, very comfortable, which is nice. Of course, they are power. Steering wheel wise, this is actually a manual tilt telescoping steering wheel, so there's a little latch on the side to adjust that, which is fine, and nothing too bad about that. And of course, we have Audi's a beautiful virtual cockpit display, 12.3 inches. And of course, you can change through all the different modes you have. So you have your regular one, you can go up to the navigation over here, where you can kind of bring the navigation to a full display. And of course, you can make it smaller and change the different views depending on what you want. And this is very customizable and still, I think, one of the best in the industry. Really nice stuff, very quick, very crisp, very clear as always. Audi does great stuff with their electronics and stuff. And of course, this is a nice, tasteful steering wheel, nothing too crazy. I like how it's open on the bottom, and you do have this nice kind of like metal, plasticky trim going on there, which looks fine. Nothing feels cheap at all. The only thing that does feel cheap is the paddle shifters, which are plastic, and I wish they were metal or something because they just feel a little chintzy. You can hear the little scratchy going on there too, but nothing too much. This isn't a sports car, so you don't have to use the paddle shifters too much at all, if anything. Other than that, there's nothing too much crazy stuff going on here. Again, the door panels are really nice. And the build quality in an Audi, as always, is super, super solid. Center console, super rigid. Everything's built really nice. No panel gaps and nothing. Nothing you would expect in an Audi as well. Up here, we do have a sunroof. Let me just tilt the camera the other way. There's my arm there. Of course, we have the roof going on over here. This one does cover up and close, and it does open as well, which is nice. It makes the cabin feel a little bit more open and airy as well. Up here, we have our sun visors, of course. Scroll up. Of course, we can open the little mirror and whatnot, and the little light comes on, which is nice. Cool stuff. Okay, guys, let's go hop into the back seats, as this is a crossover, so you're probably going to be hauling some kids or some other family members or other people around, and you kind of want to see what the back seat room is like. So let's go hop back there, opening up the doors. Really easy, and closing them up. And let's go back here. Again, pretty much the same stuff we're seeing with the door panels, all the nice same materials, wood, nice trim going on there and whatnot. And we can hop right inside. Really easy to hop in. Pretty quiet. Now, I am 6'1", and this is pretty much my driving position. And I have pretty decent leg room. I can fit my feet underneath the seats. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of like side space. Not too bad with the actual leg room. You can, there's like little knee supports there, but I can move the seat up a little bit more personally. So you do have a little bit more leg room. It's just a little bit far back right now. This is kind of like a better idea, I think, of what a normal seat position would be in. So as you can see, a way better leg room on this side. This is just moved up a slight little bit. So there's a little bit more leg room there. Now there are some rear seat cargo nets on the side. This is kind of like a hard material, but you kind of want this as a hard material. It's going to get all dinged up. You don't want that in like a nice leather or something that's going to get destroyed. You do have climate vents down here, which is nice. Charger ports, of course. Now there is a massive, absolutely massive center tunnel here. As you can see how tall it is, it's really, really big. So getting over to the other side is actually really difficult. If you're a center passenger, it's very, very cramped actually. So I would rather have 2 people back here than 3, but you can definitely fit 3 back here if you need to. No problem, but it'll be a little bit tight for them. These seats, again, are really comfortable. They kind of have a little bit of like a bolstering going on the side, which is nice. And there's stitching, of course, going on across the center of the seats and on the sides as well. Really nice stuff. We still have those nice Bang & Olufsen 3D audio system speakers back here. They're not metal like they are at all on this car, but they are pretty nice. The pattern's kind of fancy, which is kind of cool. Other than that, I guess the other main talking point back here is the headroom. As this is a sloping roofline, which the Sportback, there is a little bit reduced headroom, but nothing really noticeable at all, actually. Let me just see how much I have. I have about this much of headroom left, which is actually not too bad. The sunroof does kind of end right here, and it doesn't really go back into the roof, so it's not going to really impede on headroom too much. And you do have a little bit of lights up here if it gets too dark for you back here. Of course, LED lit, so not too bad. Rear visibility is a little bit hampered by the roofline. There's giant pillars and really tiny windows, and the rear window is a little bit sloped. But you do have, of course, a whole bunch of safety systems like blind spot and whatnot. They're going to help you kind of navigate the roads a little bit better. And of course, these seats, let me see if they recline a little bit. They do. Minimal travel with the reclining function. It's going up and down a little bit. Minimal travel with the recline. Let's see if you guys can see that. Yeah, a little bit recline. Of course, it's power with the lever on the side. And here's a quick tour of the front end real quick again. Really nice stuff. Nothing too crazy here. It's a little bit of just your everyday kind of crossover SUV vehicle. And it's, of course, a solid option. It is an Audi, so it's a very nice place to be. I think we're just going to take this for a little bit of a drive and see how the driving dynamics are. And I'll see if those paddle shifters actually work at all. And let's go take it on a little bit of drive around here. I'm going to give a little bit of idea of it. So pop it into drive. let's just put it into sport mode. Why not? And you do have your Audi Drive select modes over here. This isn't a sports car, but let's see what it kind of feels like. It puts you in manual mode for dynamic. Oh boy, how fun. Yeah, so this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It makes around, I think, 265, 270-ish horsepower. Not too bad. The V6, of course, is a little bit more peppy. Of course, it's a comfortable vehicle. Paddle shifters are quick. That's nice to see. But of course, that's not why you're buying this. So let's pop it back into like an automatic mode or even comfort. I think that's what you're really going to want to be driving this vehicle in. Pretty smooth around the parking lot, of course. Very light steering. Everything that you would expect really from this type of vehicle. And again, it's really comfortable of a cruiser. It's really quiet in here, which I think is really nice as well. You're not going to want like a loud exhaust or a loud cabin on your crossover. But you know, it is a Sportback. So if you do want more of that sport, you can get the Q5 Sportback. And that might give you a little bit more of a pep for your daily drive. But it's a very comfortable cruising car. A lot of features. I love this virtual cockpit. Like I showed you guys in the full review, you can kind of just make the entire map screen as we've seen on other Audis. So if you go here and go like this, you can see the entire map is now on the entire screen, which is super nice. And again, it is a nice cruising vehicle, nothing too crazy here. The ride's very soft. Again, the steering's very light, but it's nothing you wouldn't expect from this type of vehicle. Great daily car, I think. Again, if you do want more of that practicality though, you're gonna wanna get a regular Q5 as there's a little bit of a hampered rear trunk space. But that's really only if you're kind of packing in like really tall objects. Otherwise, the depth and kind of like the in depth and like width and whatnot is kind of the same because it's really just that sloping roof line, of course. Nothing too crazy here. We're not going to do any kind of crazy 0 to 60 runs and whatnot. It is a family crossover, so that's just a quick little drive to get a nice impressions of the ride and the steering and whatnot. Again, really light steering. It's not a sports car, and typical nice soft Audi ride. Nothing too hard or sporty or whatnot. Everything feels very solid, very tight, and very secure. I think that's what a lot of people want in this vehicle. And of course, we have Audi Quattro 4-wheel drive system as standard. I think that's what people also really want in this vehicle, is kind of get that all-wheel drive capability. And of course, you do have a hill descent and control feature and an off-road mode. So if you really, really are feeling adventurous, you can put it into an off-road mode. It turns off stability control. It also puts on your hill descent control. So if you're going to go down a really steep hill, I guess you can try to use that. But I wouldn't take this vehicle off-road at all. I would leave it in automatic or comfort and kind of just leave it there. And I think that's probably what I would leave it in. If you want, you can individualize settings. You can change your drive mode and your steering feel as well. But that's pretty much it. I wouldn't really do too much of that stuff. This is just a daily kind of vehicle, which I think is perfectly fine at. Thank you guys for this watching this quick little drive and just getting a little quick feel of the Audi Q5. And of course, watch the full video for the interior and exterior in-depth reviews. Thank you again for watching and stay tuned for a lot more.